Hello, and welcome to another 1/6 Society figure review. Today, as you may have guessed by my voice, I am not John Deek. I am your chief writer for the website, Hunter McGarry, and I suppose today I'm a guest reviewer for the site. And I am exceedingly happy to be taking a look at a figure that I've really been looking forward to since its announcement, and that is the 1/6 scale Newt Scamander figure from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by Star-Ace Toys. With that being said, I'm ready to just jump right in and take a look at this guy. With most modern releases from companies, you have a pretty standard window box containing the figure. The window shows the figure as well as the accessories within it. It also is adorned with a few quotes from the movie that I thought was really nice. I've never been a huge fan of figure boxes, but I always appreciate when the boxes are visually appealing. It adds another layer of presentation, I think, to the figure. And this is no different. The figure box is adorned, like I said, with quotes as well on the outside. On the outside of the box is photos of the figure as well, so if you're at the store or at a convention, which is typically where I buy my figures, you can kind of get an idea of what you're buying without having to pull out the figure from the box. Now, something about the film that I really enjoyed was its setting in the 1920s. I knew going into this review of this figure that the clothing would be very important. That's not always important in a figure of this caliber, but capturing the fashion of the 1920s in an accurate way is important to the film and important to me as a collector. And I'm happy to say that Star-Ace Toys did just a fantastic job on Newt's clothing. Starting just from his bottom up, we have molded shoes, which I'm always kind of hit or miss on shoes, whether they're fabric or molded. In this case, he has like a somewhat formal dress boot molded that I quite like, and that goes up into his traditional brown suit. Suits are always so hit or miss in 1/6 scale. The lapels can be thick and not look natural or not sit naturally, especially if you're layering like this figure does with his vest as well as undershirt. And I have to say, it's one of my favorite suits in 1/6 scale. Custom suits typically are very nice, and I would say this is about with the caliber of some of those. Obviously, since it is the 1920s, the material is a little bit thicker than modern suits, made to be more for a slim fit. Not to say that his suit's baggy, but it's thicker and it's fabric, and I think it feels accurate and it looks really nice draped over the body. I'm not actually 100% sure what the body is being used on the figure, but I have no problem achieving any of these poses that you're going to see in this video, especially considering the amount of layers that the figure body has over it. Fully geared up, he has the suit, a vest, a shirt, as well as an overcoat and a scarf, and none of it hinders the movement, which I will attribute to a good body. The joints feel sturdy, everything feels great. Speaking of that overcoat, it is just a gorgeous piece of 1/6 scale clothing. It's really fantastic. The material feels nice and heavy, period authentic, and much like the suit itself, it drapes quite naturally. Nothing looks unnatural about the way that the clothes fit over the body, which I cannot say enough how important that is. And having all of these different layers available, I think, is really nice as well, because it allows for some variance in your display options as a collector, because I know I like to go in and change the poses of my figures all the time, and having different options, especially in the outfit, is really nice. Now, the next thing after the outfit for me that I was really looking forward to was the head sculpt. Eddie Redmayne, who portrays Newt, has just I'll go ahead and say a weird face. It's a very peculiar face. I think that's a nicer word. And Star-Ace Toys really nailed the sculpt here. I was a little bit worried seeing that they were going for an expressioned head sculpt with his open mouth and wide eyes, but I think it really fits the character. And the the essence of Eddie Redmayne's portrayal of Newt is really brought out by that expression sculpt. In addition, it's not so much of a wild expression. He's not yelling or anything like that I think really limits posing ability. But it's a very subdued expression, which, like I said, it fits the character and it doesn't take away from your opportunities to make poses based around this head sculpt. Star-Ace has always been a little bit peculiar in skin tones, I've found, but I'm quite happy with the complexion that they chose for Eddie. It feels very natural. A bit on the paler side, which I think is fair. Eddie Redmayne is a British actor with a pale complexion. It comes across really naturally. I was quite impressed with the hair sculpt and paint. Eddie Redmayne's coif, I suppose is the correct phrase, is represented here really nicely, and the paint has a nice the paint on the hair really affords a nice level of depth, which I appreciate. But like with any other high-end 1/6 scale figure these days, you're getting all of the trademark kind of high-end paint attributes, like freckling on the skin, the color discoloration of lips, freckles on the redness in the cheeks and ears, everything that you've come to expect from other high-end 1/6 scale companies, Star-Ace brought to this. Now, enough about the head sculpt. I must say, going into this review, I did not know just how much Newt came with. I've grown so used to other 1/6 scale companies kind of skimping on the accessories, and not to say that that's a bad thing. Not every character needs a ton of accessories, but as a future magizoologist, Newt is constantly surrounded by the creatures of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter world, and I have to say, Star-Ace, this is, I think, the best part of the figure. His accessories consist of 2 extra hands, his wand, of course, because he is a wizard, a scarf, which you saw earlier, and is just absolutely gorgeous, and perfectly replicated in the scale, and it has such a nice knitted look to it. But the star of the figure is the accessories and his creatures and their home inside his briefcase. The briefcase itself, I think, is really nice. In the film, obviously, it's an endless... he has his own little zoo inside his briefcase, and obviously you can't really replicate that in 1/6 scale, but they did a very nice job of kind of getting that effect across in this little watery portal look that Star-Ace created to allow you to have some more display options with the figure. But let's go into each individual creature. You have one Niffler holding a necklace, as they're wont to do with their love of all things shiny and expensive. You have another Niffler with curved clawed hands to peek over the edge of the briefcase, which you can see here. It's nice to have accessories that go together, and this one's really adorable, and it's just a really cool little feature, I think. Also able to fit into the briefcase is the Demiguise. It sits right next to the Niffler that holds onto the edge, and while I think the paint on this one is not perfect from what I remember in the film, it still gets the idea across, and the sculpt is really nice. We also have Newt's favorite bow truckle, which I'm assuming is Pickett, and the tailoring of the outfit allows Pickett to sit right into Newt's jacket pocket, which is, again, it's just a nice little detail that they did not have to do, I don't think, but it's just really appreciated to have that option. And plus, like I said earlier, it's a really cute figure overall. Having the little creatures replicated so nicely in 1/6 scale is something that I haven't really seen done before, and it makes this a really special release. And obviously, like I said before, he is a wizard at the end of the day. He has his wand, and again, Newt's wand, every wand is so specific to its owner, and Newt's is really done quite well. And it's such a fragile little piece, I was almost scared to handle it, but it's pretty beautiful when you have it next to the figure. I know this was a quick one, which I was a little surprised about. I thought I would have more to say about this figure, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, I don't think. And I have to say, if this is the level of quality that I can expect, I'm certainly going to be getting more. because it's just an extraordinary release. The outfit is not very intricate, but it is done so well and so naturally. It's one of my favorite 1/6 scale outfits I've ever seen. I think the sculpt of Eddie Redmayne is pretty well done. It's not dead on perfect, but it's clearly Eddie Redmayne portraying Newt. And I can't talk enough about how good the accessories are, how nice having the creatures to go alongside Newt is, how nice the creature figures are themselves. They're so well done and so small, it's quite surprising to see them at that level of quality. If you're a Harry Potter fan, I would say this is a definite buy. But even, honestly, if you're not, it's such a nice figure. I hope you get to see one in person if you don't actually plan on buying one. But I can't recommend it enough. It's just a really stunning, well-done figure. Thank you so much for listening to our review. I hope you check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/16society, on YouTube here, or at our website, www.16society.com, where you can find all sorts of figure reviews, discussions, giveaways, everything along those lines. I really hope you come hang out with us, and thank you so much for listening. Have a good one.